Hi everyone, I've been asked to show how I put together a junk journal. So what I'm going to do is start with the cover because that is how I start my junk journals. This is a Reader's Digest. I like the size of it. I have chosen, Reader's Digest is one of the sizes that I will make even when I don't have the books. I can make the signatures until I find a book, so because it's all one size. My other go-to is the Lillian Jackson cat books. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've chosen this one. It is a blue book. Actually has a story about that written by Nora Roberts that has some great. I don't know if you know, but sometimes Reader's Digest will have photos. Or not photos, but pictures. So I've taken some of the pictures out of here. I have a friend that will take the guts of the book, and she is doing a folding, making things out of folding the paper. So you want to choose a book that when you look at the top, the spine actually pulls apart from the book. Okay, so the book is bound and then bound to the cover. So you want to be able to like put your finger in there. So the first thing we're going to do is open the book, and sometimes you need to take 2 pages. And you're going to go ahead and pop the book. So literally you're going to move it over and you should feel it pop. Okay. And then we are going to take our X-Acto knife and very carefully come as close to the book, not the spine, but to the book as you can. Because my last one, I broke the spine. I mean, I cut into the spine, and it ended up being okay. This is going to end up being a book for Halloween or 30 days of October, and I think that it's going to be magnificent. This is some fancy duct tape that I have that I put in it to hold the spine. So I'm going to very carefully, some of these are easier to see than others. And just go along with your craft knife, your X-Acto knife. The first couple that I did with scissors, but they were not as close as the Reader's Digest are to the spine. Okay. Sometimes it's easier than this, usually. But, you know, I'm filming, so why would it be easy? Okay. I've also made a couple of spines. Back to the old-fashioned way, maybe. This one is just, it's one of their special books, so maybe that's why, I don't know. Okay, well, we'll turn it over and do this side, and I'll come back to that. Yeah, it doesn't even really make the popping. I can feel it pop. Sometimes opening it to this other page helps. Okay, so sometimes taking out the scissors is the best way to go. I haven't had this trouble on a Reader's Digest yet. Okay, so the scissors made it much easier on this particular book. I'm being careful because I'm limited. I don't want to, I've got only so many Reader's Digest books. There we go. Okay, so we've got it opened. Now we have the guts. You can use this. Let's see, this is from, well, it's Nora Roberts, so it's missing its front pages. 2001. This one was 1981. Okay, so then you're going to want to take and clean this up a little bit. Okay. Back, and I just grabbed some sandpaper, and I'm just going to go ahead and sand off those rough edges, because they might make it hard for the book to open and close. So there we have our book cover, and I'm adding a couple more pages to my to what I want to be able to use. So I'm going to just spray them with some coffee, and that'll give us the distress look, and we'll let them go ahead and dry. So there's one. Okay, so we'll continue. I'm running out, but I just have coffee in my spray bottle, and I'm just spraying it and then gonna let it dry. These three pieces, I primarily need the good side, because I'm going to use them in the front and back covers, and maybe for pockets. So makes funny noise, but it works. Okay, and that way we'll go ahead and put these over here, and they will be drying. And I've cut a piece of cheesecloth, and I've cut it just so that it's going to go over the sides there. I think I've cut two. Feels like it. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. That'll give us a little extra binding hold, and then the frayed edges on the outside will be kind of fun as well. I'm leaving them their natural bleached color, because the book that I'm making has some of the bleached color. Yeah, I mean, it has some white and some coffee and some very light coffee staining. So that way it subtly will make it match. Okay, and I'm being generous here. Then I'm going to go in. This is that Aqua Tombow Mono liquid glue, and I'm just going to go ahead and rub it around. Make sure I've got it in the corner there, and then we are going to add the cheesecloth. Okay. Now this part is a little tricky, because it wants to stick to your fingers. I'm like going, why am I making a video of this? Because it is interesting. Okay. We'll put some glue on top. I imagine you could Mod Podge this as well. I have not done that. I really like this glue. It dries clear. And like I said, this is primarily going in, we'll use these old scissors. Primarily going in here to give us a little extra hold it together. Okay. Rather than, you know, I did duct tape on that one. The only reason I did duct tape on that one was because I broke the spine. I did. Poor book, I broke its spine. Okay, now we should let this dry, but I am going to go ahead and get it ready for the next piece, and I'm looking for it because I had already cut it, and of course now I can't find it. Oh well, look at the, there it is. Well, there's a piece of it. Oh, I know. I didn't cut the length. I only cut the width. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're putting glue down again. Now this time I'm putting down a piece of the Valance. You've seen it before. If you watch my videos, I've been cutting the little roses, the little embroidered roses out of the border. And literally this Valance was in the garage sale pile. I was like, oh, look at what we can do. So I have cut a piece here, so we need to actually go over further with the glue. This glue does give us time. About time for a new one. And I am going to cover this with paper. Sometimes on the books that are in this great of shape, I would do the centers, and I might leave the side, maybe put a pocket in it, but why waste the time and the energy? But this particular, what I'm making is peach, and it is not going to match this dark blue. And I went through all my Reader's Digest to see if there was something more appropriate, and the ones that I have, I really want to use for my thankfulness journals I have coming up. Okay, so we're rubbing this on, and now it's letting us rub it on here. Okay, now this one actually is finished, and it's got this little eyelet, that I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it at the bottom. I'm gonna kind of have it come down a little bit so that I can put a charm or something hanging from there. Okay, so now what's gonna happen is, because I'm doing this little thing here, I'm going to end up with a little bit of fold, and I'm okay with that. We do want to make sure that we're in the crease, okay, and we do want to make sure that we've left it so we can get in there. Okay. Okay, and I decided on this and having it down the center because I'm going to make this particular book with 2 signatures, and I thought it would be fun to have these to look at in between the signatures. That's why. You know, the element of surprise. Of course, if this is your book, you won't be surprised. And that's how I like to do things. I like to have things be different. Okay. Okay, up. We don't want it showing down there. Okay. I changed my mind. It's gotta move up. Move up, move out. Okay. These old scissors that don't seem to cut anything are great for coming back into these corners. Of course, you can use your fingers. Okay. Now I do want to go down a little more because I don't want the blue of the book to show. And I did have this other lace out because originally I thought I might do this. So, but I might do that in another book. Okay? Okay, so we're going to let this dry. We're going to go ahead and cut the top with the scissors that actually cut. You know what? I'm going to let it dry and then I'll cut it. Or maybe not because I have cheesecloth. Okay. And a lot of times I do things different. I mean, literally, even though some things are similar, everything is one of a kind coming out of my craft. Okay, and I think what we'll do then after this dries is we'll just go back and fray that. And we'll have the two looks. Okay, so that is our inside spine, and we'll go ahead and let it dry and come back and work on the outside spine. I don't know if you all remember, but this came, and there's two of them, it's a front and a back, for an album cover that was in the trunks. So I am going to go ahead and take the tape off and get this material off of here and see if I can use it for this album that I'm making. It is vintage, and it's from back when we used to make the fabric covered albums. Okay, and then check that cardboard out. I love that. I don't know where that's going to end up. Okay, so I have cut out. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside over here while it continues to dry, and we'll go ahead and start working on the cover. The thing about using Reader's Digest is they're all the same size, so I can go ahead and use the Halloween one to give me, to cut out my my cover. Okay, so I'm gonna lay it down. I don't want to cut up any of these cool pictures. Save those for Peggy. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it so that I'm able to bring it in and glue it down on the inside. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. And then I'll be able to use pieces of this throughout the album to go ahead and make it cohesive, make it all match. And I have it's a kind of a pinky peach going on, but it does have more greens along with it, I believe. We'll see. It's a work in progress. Okay, we're just going to come down here and cut off where the tape was. Okay. Okay, so we have cut the piece out that will be on the cover. And here, I'll show you just, this is the paper that I'll be using, the scrapbook paper part. And I've already coffee stained it. This will be cut apart, so I'll be taking that apart. I have this and this and this. So you'll see that that seems to be a pretty good match, especially going vintage. Okay. And then I've picked out a couple of pages from a calendar. Where's the other? I don't see the other calendar page, but there was a couple. Oh, this is another page from this. There, I coffee stained some of that. I also coffee stained some tags that I'll be able to use throughout the album as well. Okay, so that is all ready. And then I also coffee stained some of that lace tablecloth. Okay, we're back, and I have the cover is cut out, and it is time to open a new package. And just wanted to show you how this comes in the packaging. I pick it up at Michael's or Joann's, and I usually use a coupon because it doesn't go on, or doesn't seem to go on sale very often. It's really good to pick up when they have the additional 25% off your purchase. So we're going to go ahead and place this book down, make sure it measures correctly, because I did use a different book. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting the glue onto the book. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do it a lot of glue. Give it a lot of glue. I'm going to be doing some other things to this cover, so if I end up with bubbles and things like that, that'll just add to the character, but of course I'm trying not to. Okay, again, I'll be using my finger. You can use a paintbrush. So just putting glue all over the book. Now going ahead and rubbing it in, making sure that it goes onto these edges, down that center. Okay. This glue does take a little bit to dry, but when it's really thin, it dries pretty quickly. I mean, quicker. So just rubbing it in. Again, get it all in those places. And then we're gonna go ahead, I've got some cheesecloth on my finger. Go ahead and turn it over, and there. Press it down. Okay, and now pick it up and come over to this side. Go ahead and rub it down. Find those places on the spine. You want to make sure that those are, that you have those indentations, because that's going to make a difference on how well your book opens and closes. Okay. And get the cheesecloth out of my fingernail. Okay, and it does dry clear. And I chose a print like this because I am covering a dark book. I mean, it's dark blue. So, there. And we're going to go ahead and let it dry. So our cover has dried. And now we're going to come to the inside. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut at an angle up to the edge of each of these, each corner. And we're going to put those aside because we will be able to use them. And then we're going to get out our aqua Tombow glue. And go all the way along, and I want to make sure that it's stuck to the edge as well. So, okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. Actually, we'll do the side. We'll go all the way across the bottom. Whoops. Okay. And this does dry clear. And oh, I got too much stuff. I'm doing the Halloween one at the same time. Because while you got the stuff out, you might as well go ahead and make more of it, or make everything that you can. Okay, I did notice since we are covering this, we should go ahead and cut the cheesecloth and the eyelet material carefully so that you don't cut the other material. Okay, so we have done that. And this way I can finish this bottom piece, get the cheesecloth off my fingers. Okay. And remember, I wanted to use this, so I'm going to fold it in and make it look finished right here. Okay, so I've taken and I've pressed it in, folded it, and I'm going to press it down. And that way I can still maybe come in and attach something there to be able to do the charm like I wanted to. We will see. Okay, now we'll go up and pull down the top. Every once in a while you'll hear my husband. He is home today. He's trying to be quiet. I told him, I said, this is going to be a long day of pieces of videos. So right now he's on the radio, so you might hear that. Now one of the things I noticed is that we can see this blue here, so I'm going to go ahead I came in too close, I guess, and put down a triangle. Okay, and it's going to be okay. We are dry, and next we are going to go ahead and we are going to do the magic fingernail measuring method, and I am going to go up to about here, and we'll come in from this side to here. The magic method, fingernail method, measuring method is go to where you want it and pinch it with your fingernail. Okay, that is the magic fingernail measuring method. Okay, so we're using the trusty Cricut cutter here. Okay, and so for the left side, we're going to this magic fingernail spot. And for this side, we're going to this one. Save that for later. And okay, so get out the new one. Go ahead, actually put it on the paper, not on the edge. I did a little bit of spraying this paper with coffee. It doesn't have much of a difference, but I know I tried so that it would match the paper. So it has a good coffee stain there and a good coffee stain. It reminds me of wallpaper in Iowa when I was looking to buy a house. Okay. So the one thing I have found with this glue is glue it down, let it sit for a minute, and then go back over it one more time and press it down, and then it stays really well. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. So how many of you do the magic thumbnail method of measuring? It does work a little better than the magic eye method. Works actually a lot better than the magic eye method. That's just gauging it with your eye and going, oh, okay, I think we'll put it here. Okay. Okay, we'll come over here, press this down again. Okay, the one thing that I'm seeing here, I think I'm going to want to put some kind of trim down here just to make it look more finished. And I'm concerned that this keeps popping up. So we'll go ahead and give it some extra glue. For some reason it thinks that it doesn't need to stay down over there. So I've been playing with some of the stuff I have here to come up with an idea for the cover. Okay, so there we have our book cover and the insides, and I'm gonna go see if I can find something to put along with it. Some different laces, and so we can go ahead and check. But I also thought maybe I might want to put a pocket here or a tuck Anyway, I do know I want to cover the inside, and I have this peach, but it really gets lost. There's this nude color. Also have this little white that has ended up being my favorite trim, and I think that's going to be the one. So we're just going to go ahead and put a bead of glue. I'm doing it in a circular motion so that it holds the whole piece of lace down. Jeez. Okay. So we'll start with this side since we're already in that direction. And we'll come in with those trusty scissors that don't work for anything except for doing stuff like this, because they don't seem to cut things anymore. Come down and, sorry about that, come down and cut it. And okay, so do I want to put a pocket on this side? You know, I did make a pocket out of we could put that there. Oops, I already put the glue down, Julie. And I've now lost the little piece. Does that happen to you? Do you lose things while you're crafting? I just had it. I just had it. I just had it. Happens to me all the time, all day long. Okay. So I think I'm gonna like that, kind of get an idea how it will look with the signature in there. Yeah, I like that. I like that very much. Okay, whoopsie, you just got a sneak peek of the beginning of the first signature. Okay. Okay, everybody, I have my finished, well, it's not finished because I will probably add more to the cover, but this video got, it didn't turn out, of me ripping this out of the cut apart page and then decoupaging it. I also added some cheesecloth here and here. And then I've just added a little safety pin with this little piece of bling on it down here. But the cover is ready to have signatures. Okay, so next I gather my papers and I go and I measure and decide what size my signature pages, my main pages are going to be. And for this particular book, they're going to be 10 3/8 by 7 3/8. So I will go through and choose some papers. Some of the papers I might fold up to make the 7 3/8, and I'll just leave them like that. Some of them I will measure, because this is 8.5, so I might just pull over a border on the side with this measuring the 10 3/8. That would be more for the large pieces. Now for the calendar pages, I will look at the calendar page, and let's see, let's get a good one here, and I will kind of fold it in half and go, okay, you know, it's like, yes, I could just fold it right there, but I'm probably gonna want a little more butterfly on this side, and so it may end up like this, which this may bring it to further than what it needs to be for a signature side, and then this can become a side band here. Okay, so I look at I don't just go through and go, oh, okay, fold it in half, cut it. No, I really do try and look at my page, and I'm gonna, like, if I were using this one, I would probably want the butterfly to at least show this much. I'm okay with it being less on this side, but I'm gonna want more on the side with the actual body of the butterfly. And then I would, like I said, I would probably fold it there and come in and fold it here. So the same with like the 12-inch paper, 12 by 12. I need 7 3/8. I'd probably go ahead and measure down on at least one of them for each signature. 7 3/8, measure down and fold it there, and then cut, like, so that I have a 1.5 to 2 inch pocket. Okay, and then the same for the side, because being that it's 10 3/4, that's less than, well, it's less than 5 1/4, or 10 3/8, so that's less than 5 1/4 across. So you could actually have an inch, almost an inch on each side border. Okay, and so I'm gonna go ahead and go do that and cut out my pages. So some of my 12 by 12s will be cut so that they have flaps up. Some will be cut so they have flaps in. And then my coffee dyed pages will be 10 3/8 by 7 3/8. I do also have some pink ones for this particular project. Okay, so I have cut my pages down. I have added the borders. Some of them I've even already glued. Some of them I've already even added the flip to the, this one I actually glued down the border. Pulled out a couple of doilies, and so then I just start putting together a signature. This one here is coffee dyed paper, and it was supposed to have a border pocket with a flip, but I accidentally glued down the bordered pocket. And I'm gonna probably alternate between some of the scrapbook paper that I have and the coffee dyed papers. And then when I embellish it, I will be using some of the pieces from the scrapbook paper, but I also have napkins and really neat note cards that I will be putting throughout the book, and I will probably stagger those in between. So this is a piece out of a notepad, and I was able to take the staples out of the center, and it gave me a full page of journaling to be able to put in. This one I've already added a pocket made out of a graph index card where I glued on a napkin. Let's see, I'll go with, this is lined paper on one side, graph paper on the other, and it is coffee dyed. Okay. This is coffee dyed pink paper, pink coffee paper. This is a note page of notes, and I accidentally cut off where it said notes. And I'm leaving this edge here for now. I may take it off. Okay, here's one of the scrapbook papers where I added the border at the bottom. And I've gone ahead and I've glued it here. I have glued it in the center and I've glued it here. And I did that just because it makes it easier for me to keep control. I did also already add a tuck spot corner here and a belly band on this one. I knew that I wanted on this, I have this paper in both books, or both signatures, or for both signatures, and so I've already done that on those, I believe. And then this is some of the embossed from the charger plate, coffee dyed paper. And this is how I cut out this piece of the calendar. So I cut it so you see the bird and the nest. You see both birds here, and then the back of the bird here. Okay. So I think I'll put the doily right here in the front with that charger plate. And so there we have our first signature. I'll have the doily. The one thing that happens is the calendar does end up upside down, so I may decorate on part of that page, like on the side or something. I did, like I said, I already added belly band there. We have a pocket here, be able to journal here. Journal there. This is a border pocket, but it's also a pull-out, so you don't lose any journaling space, and it's pretty. And I did come around, because that was 12 by 12 paper, and I added a border band on this side. There's that piece of note paper. This is a pocket, and this was the 12 by 12 paper, and I folded it into 3 pieces, and then this piece I turned into a pocket. And you see I alternate between the different ones. This again was a 12 by 12 piece of paper. I wanted to make sure I had as much of the bird as I could. This is going to be the center of the signature. And here is a side pocket, and it still has a lot of interest with the bird or the song notes there. Again, this is the one where I accidentally glued it down, but it does still have a place for journaling, and I'll probably go through and put the lines there. Okay, there's that pocket. Okay, so this is almost naked. You know, that's what we call it, almost naked journal so far, and then we'll go back and add more embellishments. So that is how I make a signature using the coffee dyed paper and some of the scrapbook papers, as well as a piece of the calendar. And here's what I have so far for the other signature. We'll just go through this really fast. I have already added a pocket here and a couple. I was just playing with some tags, and I've already put this Project Life card here on this on this paper that has music notes, and I thought that was kind of fun. It says notes here, just some notes, and notes, music notes, and some more music notes. I downloaded this from Deli Girl 1961. This is one of her free downloads. It's just the roses. I've downloaded it onto music paper. So then I've just used the antique linen around this page and on here to distress it. Added a little bit of trim here. Cut. This is more of the Deli Girl digital the free digital, and this one is on pink file folders. I have a lot of those. They were gifted to me, and a little bit of lace added here. So now we have a pocket. Here's belly band on this one, and a side border. This is the scrapbook paper. This is a little note paper that I had. This is a pocket. It is a napkin decoupaged onto coffee dyed paper and then attached to another piece of coffee dyed paper and made into a pocket. There's the doily, pink coffee dyed paper, ledger paper that is coffee dyed. It's the 8x8 pack from I think it's Recollections. I'm not sure, and then I have the Tim Holtz vellum, decorated vellum, and then I'm putting this note card here, and this will be the center of the signature. Okay, so these are the other sides of all of those. This is also a pocket. Here we have a tuck spot and a flip. So it's corner tuck flip. And this is a piece of that valance. And I've just cut the little rows out. Some book paper that I've painted. This I just added a border onto this is the other side of that paper that had the music notes. And I just glued a border on it. It's the other side of the note paper. And here we have a side border, and I didn't glue it down this time, yay, on the back of the calendar, so something can go inside here. I'll just put one of my little things that I've been making inside here, but you don't lose journaling space because we have this little thing that pops out. So, and then this is the back of the signature. So you see, for the front of this signature, I've used that embossed paper, the coffee dyed paper that I made using that plaque. So I will put the tutorial down below on how you can do these wonderful embossed. So I have my 2 signatures are ready. I am going to go ahead and add the lace to the outside and some more of the tucks and the pockets before I actually put this in the book. So we do have the cover. Whoops, I am so sorry. Move you back. We do have the cover, and you can see it's already getting a little bit chunky, but it is going to fit nicely, and I think it's going to be really pretty. Okay, so just a quick. So we'll make this the end of part 1, where we have 2 signatures are ready for decoration, and you will find all the decorating in part 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're still here, please give it a thumbs up and let me know you're here. Find something to celebrate every day. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye. Oh, your comments and things down below. Bye-bye.